Congressman, with the likely addition of Amy Coney Barrett on the U.S. Supreme Court after tomorrow's vote, do you think if Democrats do well, like in 9 days, adding members to the High Court should be considered, or is it time to consider term limits? This, of course, is what we'd like to hear about what you think Joe Biden should do, even though he's called for a commission to look into this.
I'm supportive of the Biden position. I would love to believe that Chief Justice Roberts' assertion that there are no Clinton judges, Obama judges, or Trump judges, but the argument has now, I think, boiled over, largely because of the way that the Republicans treated Merrick Garland. He was eminently qualified to be a member of the Supreme Court. He never even received the courtesy of a hearing. I think that has contributed to much of the controversy, even surrounding subsequent nominations. So I think that the Biden position is sound here.
Do you lean more towards adding more members or perhaps imposing term limits for the High Court?
Well, I think that if you were to put together eminent scholars of the law, I think that they might give us some tangible recommendations. I think one of the challenges we always have from people like myself who are real institutionalists, I think we need to always remind ourselves that we could someday be on the other side of this argument.
Mr. Chairman, Joe Biden says if he's elected, he will raise taxes, but not on Americans with less than $400,000 of annual income. So where, as the Ways and Means Chair, would you go to get additional revenues?
Well, Ed, let me just say this, in fairness, I have one of the 5 jobs or 6 jobs in Washington that moves markets, so I'm going to give you more of a diplomatic response. I think we need to await an appointment of a Treasury Secretary. I think that the Biden position, certainly on individual rates, back to 39.6, that was the Clinton-Obama position. I still can't understand, although I went into heavy conversations with Secretary Mnuchin about why they were doing that, and I'll let you in on the secret. They did it for one reason. When they saw what the SALT deduction did, they decided they had to give some relief to people with the higher income levels. I think it was a mistake. On the corporate side, I think trying to harmonize OECD rates with United States rates for the purposes of international taxation makes some sense, but also not to miss the point that we moved from 39.6 on the corporate side to 21. Nobody on the Democratic side, and I'm not even sure on the Republican side, foresaw that.
And OECD is?
The European tax systems. There are about 25 member states across Europe, and we think harmonizing those rates with our European allies makes a good deal of sense, largely because today, where profits are made and where profits are reported internationally, those are very different arguments.
Got it.
We can't let you go without asking this. In the event a transition of power from President Trump to Joe Biden takes place, how confident are you that it's going to be peaceful and it's going to be orderly?
Well, I expect it's going to be noisy, I can tell you that, if there's any merit to that. But at the same time, look, I've got great faith in our institutions. We're going to inaugurate a president on January 20th, just as we're going to have an election on the first Monday after the first Tuesday in November. 9 days out, I'm a believer in our institutions.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for joining us. It's our sincere thanks to Congressman Richard Neal for joining us here this morning on The Record.